Hi there, and thanks for checking out this video. I'm John from TennisCompanion, and today we're doing an in-depth review and playtest of the Nike React Vapor NXT. Before we get started, I did want to let you know that this is not a sponsored video. I haven't been paid by Nike or anyone else to discuss these shoes. With that said, let's get started with the Vapor NXT specs so you know exactly what you're getting with this shoe. The Vapor NXTs I have on hand weigh in at 16.2 ounces or 459 grams in a men's size 10.5, which is on the heavier end of the spectrum. For context, here's a table comparing the weight of some popular tennis shoes and how they compare. From a fit standpoint, the shoe runs true to size and it has a medium width, which hugs your foot snugly while the arch is somewhat low, providing less than average support. As far as break-in, I did find these shoes to be a bit stiff their first few uses, so expect to give yourself some time with them before any serious play. The Vapor NXTs are available for both men and women, but at the time of creating this video, they're not currently available in a clay court model. Of course, when they eventually are, expect the availability of the clay version to vary depending on where you live. The shoe has a thick and durable rubber outsole at the bottom, which makes use of a non-traditional herringbone tread pattern that takes advantage of data-influenced generative design for optimal performance and traction. The outsole wraps up the front, providing a reasonably protective toe guard, and continues toward the medial or inside edge for additional protection. At the heel, the outsole offers soft or gradual edges for a natural heel-to-toe transition. Finally, there's a rigid midfoot shank to help reduce twisting and aid stability, especially during aggressive side-to-side movement. At the midsole, you'll find a generous mix of Nike's React foam for responsive comfort, which is placed toward the arch of your foot, combined with a firmer foam toward the lateral or outside edge for stability in a more connected feel of the court. You'll also find a rigid, semi-transparent plastic foot frame from the heel to the outside edge, along with some small fins up front for added support and stability. For the upper, you'll find a thin and surprisingly stretchy booty construction to provide a snug fit, while the outer layer is constructed with Nike's Flyweave technology that offers flexible support and ventilation. A final, thick plastic panel with the same pattern as the outsole wraps up the front inside edge up through the toe for generous durability and abrasion resistance. And a plush, foam ankle collar toward the back helps keep your heel locked in place. Now that you know exactly what to expect from the Nike React Vapor NXTs, let's jump into my playtest and review. To help evaluate the Nike React Vapor NXT, I went on a 2-mile run to gain a feel for comfort and the weight of the shoes. I also completed some agility and footwork drills to help flesh out traction and stability, and finally, spent plenty of time hitting on the court to gauge overall performance. When it comes to style, the React Vapor NXT is a bit of a mixed bag for me. I like the portions of the Flyweave upper that give the shoe a clean, performance-oriented look, but I struggle with the design of the brightly colored, thick rubber protective material that wraps the inside up through the toe. Not because of the color, but I feel it didn't need to wrap so high up the forefoot, and find it gives the shoe a slightly awkward, visually unbalanced look. With that said, I'm not put off by the style and happily wear them without much thought, but I did feel the visual design was a bit of a miss. It's worth noting they do offer an all-white and mostly black pair that reduces the contrast between panels for a more balanced look. As far as lacing goes, it's relatively smooth and easy. The shoe offers a booty construction, so I didn't experience any awkward bunching under the laces, and I definitely feel I was able to achieve a locked-in fit with the non-traditional lacing loops that run along the inside of the upper. One thing you'll want to keep in mind is that the material below the laces is relatively thin, so if you lace too tight, you're going to feel it. I didn't find this to be a problem because even without laces, the shoes are relatively secure with the booty construction, so a moderately snug lacing does the trick. In terms of comfort, I was pleasantly surprised. I was expecting a bit of a firmer ride, but the thick midsole and React foam do an excellent job absorbing shock at the heel, while the thinner sole at the forefoot keeps your foot closer to the ground for a responsive feel. Regarding fit, the shoes are spot on and feel great. However, if you do have wider feet, then I'd expect that to present an issue. It's worth noting that early on I did find the thick orange rubber protective material on the inside or medial portion of the shoe to put a bit of pressure at the top of my foot as the shoe collapsed. As they've broken in, it's become less of an issue, but it's good to be aware that may present slight discomfort early on in the first 10 to 20 hours of play. As far as stability goes, the Nike React Vapor NXTs have room for improvement. Primarily at the top of the foot around the ankle, I found they offered slightly too much give for sharp lateral or side-to-side movements. They're by no means poor, and outside of that they were perfectly sufficient, but even when laced tighter, I found the upper's generous flex to be somewhat problematic. If stability is a high priority, then I'd encourage you to look elsewhere. Otherwise, it's just good to be aware. When it comes to traction, I thought the Vapor NXTs were excellent. They offer fantastic grip and ensure solid footing for all range of movement. At the same time, they do offer a slight give when lunging into a shot to prevent your foot from locking up, which is how I prefer my shoes. From a durability standpoint, the Nike React Vapor NXTs are solid. The outsole held up well to the pounding of a hard court, but they're by no means indestructible. I have a tendency to drag my right foot a bit, and I could see some of the treads start to fade at the front after 5 to 10 hours of play, but for me, that's par for the course. I've been most impressed by the durable orange rubber, which seems to hold up very well, so if that's a high wear area for you, then I'd expect them to offer great protection. As we covered earlier, the React Vapor NXTs fall on the heavier end of the weight spectrum, and while noticeable, I didn't find they hindered my movement. For the most part, I view the added weight as a trade-off. Although heavier, you're getting some extra durability, so if that's important, the weight might be less of a concern. If not, then a lighter shoe to help you feel as nimble as possible will likely be a better fit. I will say for the weight, I do wish they offered better stability, which is often what you can expect with a heavier shoe, so I do view that as a downside. When it comes to ventilation, Nike's React Vapor NXTs perform well. You'll get most of the breathability from the mid to front outside edge beneath the flyweave material and at the tongue where you lace the shoes. Generally, I found them to keep my feet plenty cool and comfortable. Overall, I found the Nike React Vapor NXTs to be a quality tennis shoe, which delivers solid all-around performance with an emphasis on comfort and durability. I found their weakest area of performance to be stability, and I do think Nike could have traded a small bit of durability for a reduction in weight. However, with that said, I enjoyed my playtest with these shoes and plan to keep them in my rotation. If you'd like to learn more about the Nike React Vapor NXTs, be sure to check out my full write-up, which I've linked in the video's description. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to comment below, and if you'd like to join me for future videos, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, I'll see you in the next video.